Have you ever found yourself wondering, how much time do I really have left? Maybe you've noticed little changes lately. A walk that feels slower, a jar that's harder to open, or a restless night that leaves you dragging the next day. Friends, if you're over 70, these aren't just normal parts of aging. They're quiet whispers from your body, clues that science says can tell you a lot about how long and how well you'll live. Now, I'm not here to scare you. In fact, I've got good news, because once you understand these signs, you can actually do something about them. Today, we're going to talk about 7 simple things your body's already telling you, and how paying attention to them could add years to your life. Let's start with the one you might notice every time you step out the door. Let's talk about walking speed. You've probably heard the saying, slow and steady wins the race. But when it comes to longevity, science tells a different story. Researchers have found that how fast you walk in your 70s isn't just about getting from point A to point B, it's a window into your overall health. Think about 2 neighbors, Joe and Frank. Both are 75. Joe walks his dog every morning at a steady clip, climbs stairs without grabbing the railing, and still mows his lawn. Frank, though, he started avoiding walks because he feels unsteady, takes breaks halfway up the stairs, and hires someone to handle the yard work. Now, Joe isn't lucky, he's strong. His brisk pace tells us his heart, muscles, and even his brain are still in fighting shape. Frank's slowdown? It's a red flag. A slow, unsteady walk can signal muscle loss, poor circulation, or even early signs of cognitive decline. But here's the good news. You can improve your walking speed. It's not about training for a marathon, it's about consistency. Start with a 10-minute walk around the block. Use a pedometer to track your steps. Even marching in place during TV commercials counts. The goal isn't to race, it's to keep your body used to moving. Because how you walk today might just predict how many tomorrows you'll have. Now let's talk about something you might not expect. Your grip strength. That's right, how firmly you can shake a hand, open a jar, or carry groceries isn't just about convenience. It's a powerful predictor of how long you'll stay healthy. Take Robert and Walter. Both are 78. Robert still lifts light weights, chops his own firewood, and prides himself on his vise grip handshake. Walter? He's noticed that even turning a doorknob feels harder these days. He brushes it off as just aging. But science tells us that weakening grip strength is a warning sign. It's linked to muscle loss, frailty, and a higher risk of falls. And falls are one of the biggest threats to independence as we age. Here's the thing. Grip strength isn't just about your hands. It's a snapshot of your whole body's muscle health. The good news? You can rebuild it. Keep a stress ball by your chair and squeeze it during phone calls. Use hand grippers while watching the news. Even kneading bread dough counts. Small efforts today can keep you strong enough to open jars and live life for years to come. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Is it really that simple? Can how I walk or open a jar really predict my future? Friends, these aren't just old wives' tales. They're patterns researchers have seen in thousands of seniors. And the best part? These signs aren't set in stone. They're reminders that your choices matter. But walking speed and grip strength are just the beginning. There are other signs, quiet, everyday things you might not even notice, that science says are just as important, like how well you sleep, the way you handle stress, or even how long you can stand on one leg. Yes, really. So if you're realizing, maybe I've slowed down more than I thought, don't worry, knowledge is power. And in the next part of our conversation, we'll dive into even more ways to take control of your health and your future. Because growing older isn't about counting years. It's about making those years count. Until then, why not take a small step today? Lace up your shoes for a short walk or test your grip by squeezing a towel while you fold laundry. Every little bit adds up. And remember, you're not just adding years to your life, you're adding life to your years. You know, one of the most surprising things about aging isn't the big changes. It's the little ones. Like that moment you realize you need to hold onto the counter while putting on socks, or how a night of tossing and turning leaves you feeling like you've run a marathon. These tiny shifts might seem ordinary, but science says they're anything but. Today we're going to talk about 3 more signs your body uses to whisper its secrets about longevity. Let's start with something so simple, you might not even think to test it. Your ability to stand on one leg. Now I know what you're thinking. Really? Balance? But stay with me. Researchers have found that if you can't hold this pose for at least 10 seconds in your 70s, it's a red flag for future health risks. Let me tell you about Carol and Nancy, both 72. Carol gardens every morning, practices Tai Chi in her backyard, and can balance on one foot while tying her shoes. Nancy, she started leaning heavily on furniture when she stands up, avoids uneven paths on walks, and recently tripped over her rug. Now Nancy's not clumsy, her body's signaling something deeper. Poor balance hints at weakening muscles, slower reflexes, or even early changes in brain health. But here's the good news. Balance isn't a use it or lose it skill. It's a practice it and improve it one. Try this tonight. Brush your teeth while standing on one leg. Hold the sink if you need to. Walk heel to toe across the kitchen while waiting for the kettle to boil. Small doses of practice can keep you steady and independent for years. Next up, your sleep patterns. We've all had nights where sleep feels elusive, but if restless nights become the norm, it's more than just frustration, it's a clue. Take Henry and Bill, both 76. Henry sticks to a bedtime routine, sleeps soundly and wakes up ready for his morning crossword. Bill? He scrolls news alerts until midnight, wakes up every 2 hours, and spends his days in a fog. Over time, Henry's body repairs itself nightly, while Bill's poor sleep quietly chips away at his immune system, memory, and even heart health. But here's the thing. Sleep isn't a luxury, it's medicine. If you're struggling, start small. Swap late-night screen time for a chapter of a book. Real books, not tablets. Try dimming lights an hour before bed. And if you're still tossing, don't panic, adjust. A 20-minute afternoon nap can recharge you without sabotaging nighttime sleep. Remember, quality sleep isn't about perfection. It's about giving your body the reset it deserves. Now let's talk about your appetite. After 70, a shrinking appetite might feel normal. I just don't get hungry like I used to. But science says it's a sign we shouldn't ignore. Meet Margaret and Susan, both 74. Margaret savors meals, piles her plate with colorful veggies and lean proteins, and snacks on nuts and fruit. Susan skips breakfast, grabs crackers for lunch, and feels too full for dinner. Over time, Margaret's body gets the fuel to stay strong, while Susan's lack of nutrients weakens her muscles and immune system. Here's the truth. Eating well after 70 isn't about quantity, it's about strategy. If big meals feel overwhelming, try 5 small ones. Keep hard-boiled eggs or yogurt handy for easy protein. Spice up meals with herbs if flavor's dull. And hydration? Sip water throughout the day. Even mild dehydration can masquerade as lost appetite. Your body isn't picky, it's hungry for the right tools to thrive. Now you might be wondering, what if I've already noticed these signs? Does that mean it's too late? Absolutely not. Think of these clues as your body's way of nudging you, not judging you. Carol didn't start with perfect balance. She practiced. Henry didn't always prioritize sleep. He built habits. And Margaret? She keeps her pantry stocked with easy, nourishing foods for days when cooking feels like a chore. The beauty of these signs is that they're not verdicts, they're invitations. Invitations to move a little more, rest a little deeper, and savor meals a little wiser. And in our final conversation, we'll explore how your mindset and the people around you play a starring role in your longevity. Because how you handle life's bumps and who you share the journey with might just be the most powerful predictors of all. Until then, why not try one tiny change tonight? Stand on one leg while waiting for your tea. Swap a processed snack for a handful of almonds. Or simply turn off the TV an hour early and let your body wind down. Remember, it's never about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing something consistently, and that something could add years to your life and joy to your years. You've probably heard the saying, it's not the years in your life, but the life in your years. And friends, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. How the way you live each day quietly shapes how many days you'll have left. We've covered walking speed, grip strength, balance, sleep, and eating habits. Now let's dive into the final two signs that might surprise you, because they're not about your body, but about your mind and your heart. First up, how you handle stress. Let's be honest, life after 70 isn't always sunshine and roses. There are health scares, financial worries, losses that leave a hole in your heart. But here's what science tells us. It's not the stress itself that's the problem. It's how you carry it. Take John and Richard, both 76. John lost his wife a few years ago, and while grief still visits him, he leans into morning walks, calls his grandson weekly, and finds peace in his woodworking shop. Richard, though, he replays every worry like a broken record. Rising bills, achy joints, news headlines. Over time, John's calm approach keeps his blood pressure steady and his mind sharp. Richard's constant stress, it's like pouring battery acid on his health, linked to inflammation, heart disease, even memory loss. But here's the secret. Stress isn't a life sentence. You can't control everything, but you can control how you respond. Try this. When worry hits, step outside for 5 deep breaths. Write down one thing you're grateful for. Call a friend who makes you laugh. It's not about erasing stress. It's about not letting it hitch a ride in your soul. Because how you navigate life's bumps today could decide how many tomorrows you'll have to enjoy. Now let's talk about something we all crave: connection. You might think, I'm fine on my own. I don't need a crowd. And sure, independence is precious, but science shouts loud and clear. Loneliness isn't just sadness, it's a health risk. Meet Eleanor and Barbara, both 78. Eleanor meets her knitting group every Thursday, video chats with her grandkids, and waves at neighbors on her porch. Barbara? She's spent years pulling away. People are too busy, she tells herself. But isolation has crept in, dimming her mood, weakening her immune system, even dulling her mind. Here's the truth. Your relationships are lifelines. They don't have to be dozens, just meaningful. Reconnect with an old friend over coffee, join a library book club, even if you just listen, or simply smile at the cashier who rings up your groceries. Every tiny interaction sparks your brain, lifts your spirit, and whispers to your body, you're not alone. And that, friends, might be the most powerful medicine of all. So let's tie this all together. Those 7 signs: walking speed, grip strength, balance, sleep, appetite, stress, and connection, aren't a report card. They're a roadmap to a life where you're not just counting birthdays, but celebrating them, where you're strong enough to play with grandkids, sharp enough to tell stories, and resilient enough to face whatever comes your way. But here's the best part. It's never too late to start. Didn't sleep well last night? Take a 10-minute nap today. Struggling with balance? Practice standing on one leg while you wait for the microwave. Feeling lonely? Send a text to someone you miss. They'll likely light up to hear from you. Small steps, taken daily, add up to big changes. So I'll leave you with this. Aging isn't about losing, it's about choosing. Choosing to move, to nourish, to rest, to connect. To treat your body and heart like the treasures they are. Because the years ahead, they're not just about how long you live, but how boldly. Here's to you. To the walks you'll take, the meals you'll savor, the laughs you'll share, and the peace you'll nurture. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your story in the comments. What's one small change you'll make this week? Let's inspire each other. And if you found this helpful, pass it along to a friend, because we all deserve to live well, no matter our age. Until next time, keep shining. The world's brighter with you in it. If this resonated with you, hit like and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss our next video. Until then, keep cherishing every moment.